I'm Jason.
I'm Diggs.
I make software, music, and podcasts.
I connect people, personally and professionally, and I like talking with Jason.
This is the Candy Factory 5x5 podcast.
5 conversations.
5 random topics.
5 minutes each.
When we hear this sound,
we move on to the next topic. Next.
On every episode, we invite a very special guest to join us. And our special guest on this episode of 5x5, Mabel Bachini.
Perfect.
Tell us about yourself, Mabel.
I am Mabel. I am a career coach, so I help people who don't know what to do with their lives. I help them find meaningful careers that they love, and luckily that is a job that I love.
You love helping people love what they do.
Luckily I do, yeah. And if I ever stop liking it, then I'm going to have to switch careers because that's...
Would you listen to your own advice? Is that what...
I'm going to have to.
I was going to ask.
Yeah, exactly.
Would you hire yourself? You're like, Mabel, I need help.
I've got to drink my own medicine sometimes.
You're looking in the mirror, you're like, Mabel,
Girl,
we need to talk.
It's
you
the
need
perfect
help.
TikTok.
I should do that. You've just given me a free bit of marketing.
There you go.
Thank you.
You have been a Candy Factory member for a while now. Can you tell me when? About a year?
Yeah, so we moved to Lancaster in April, and as soon as I got here, I was like, man, got to find myself a co-working space.
Yeah, man.
And so I think it was like the end of April that I messaged Anne.
Of 2021.
2021,
Yeah.
exactly. And then came in, and then I was like a partial member for a while, and then maybe a few months ago became a full-time member.
So you were just like, your foot would be in the door.
I was like a community.
you would,
yeah,
like,
exactly. I'd say like once a week you'd see me.
She had to test us out.
We are very excited to have you on 5x5. Diggs, my friend, always a pleasure to see you.
And you?
We are recording in the media studio here at the Candy Factory, the So Good Media Studio. Now, I mentioned candy. Mm-hmm. Do we make candy, Mabel?
Apparently not. But I had a friend who thought you did, and he was very confused.
They all do.
Yeah.
We're not. We're a co-working and social club located right in the heart of downtown Lancaster, Pennsylvania. You can check out coworkinginlancaster.com for all the details. You can come in and schedule a tour. You can see the whole facility. It's 25,000 square feet.
How big?
25,000 square feet. We have something for everyone, including a media studio that you can get access to for your membership. Memberships start at only $100 a month. That's a community membership.
Such a bargain.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's an incredible deal. Coworkinginlancaster.com. This is the Candy Factory 5x5 podcast. Here's how it works. I have an iPad. His name is Frank. He's sitting right here. Frank's going to dish up 5 random topics. We're going to talk about each topic for 5 minutes each. I just said each twice.
That's okay.
In back-to-back sentences.
It's a word. It's fine.
I'm here for it.
And dial that back a little bit, the each thing. Frank's going to give us a topic. We're going to talk about it for 5 minutes. Hear a little jingle. Move on to the next topic. So if you don't like the topic, here's the beauty of it. If you don't like the topic, it's okay. Because by the time you realize that, we're probably only about 2.5 minutes left.
That's good for me, because I might not like the topic. I might hate some of these things.
You just slam the headphones down and walk off.
I'm not doing it.
But you can't really do that, because if you did, then you'd have to come back in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, it'd be a bad rep for me, so I'm going to stick it out.
Good call.
Are you guys ready? You feeling good?
As good as I will ever feel.
I feel loose. Frank, we're going to dial up our first topic of the show here in just a second.
Oh, the tension.
We are going to go back to this screen, and we are going to start a new episode. I pressed the wrong button.
That's okay.
Episode 55.
What?
Of the 5x5 podcast.
Oh my gosh,
and first of the new year.
And the very first one of 2022. Welcome, by the way, to 2022.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Was yours good?
We're not going to talk about that right now. We're going to talk about theater versus movies at home.
Oh.
Theater versus movies at home.
So we're not talking about like live theatre?
No. We're talking about going to the theater to see a movie versus watching a movie at your house.
Going to the cinema.
Going to the cinema. Thank you. Now it's been put into English. I understand the question.
It doesn't say cinema.
But it should.
I know.
Yeah,
You're just poking a little.
It's good to have you here to translate for me. It
well,
really
we'll
is.
see. We'll see.
You're translating. What's your preference? Do you like to go out to the cinema, or do you prefer to watch movies at home?
I haven't been to the cinema since I was about 14.
Whoa.
Really?
Yeah. And I haven't watched a movie. Well, I do. I watch Christmas movies. But bar Christmas movies, I haven't watched a movie in like a year.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is there a reason? Or?
It's just the attention. Maybe it's the habit, or like it's the attention span. I'll watch a documentary. I love a documentary.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
But the movies. But I feel like I might quite like to get back into it, because I think there's something like old movies. I'd quite like to get back into old movies. They're peaceful. They're more meditative than like very, very quick, fast-paced TV nowadays.
So you're talking about fiction films, like the Golden Globes, the whole well, I guess they do documentary too, but you know what I mean, like the blockbusters. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I don't watch movies. I don't
I-
go to the theater and watch movies. I watch a documentary.
Yeah.
You know, any day of the week I'll watch a documentary.
Am I the only one that's? I'm gonna have to hold down the.
You are going to have to hold down
theater.
this topic.
Well, it's fine. Like I didn't. There's certain movies that I know I want to see like in a theater, like have that experience. So like the last James Bond came out. And sorry, yes, I'm dealing with a cold. It is an actual cold. Don't COVID us.
You're doing well.
But when the last James Bond movie came out, I knew I wanted to see that in theaters, like because there's just something to like seeing the. I get into like the cinematography of things and
Sure.
how
Yeah.
like shots are shot in a sense. So I appreciate, and I knew this one. Of course, I'm blanking on the director of photography's name at the moment, but I knew that I'd heard of them before and that I'd liked their work.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see them again. Same thing with like Wes Anderson movies. Like I feel like if I'm going to see it the first time, I need to see it in a theater. Especially because of the way he always does symmetry and like the construction of the shot. I'm really interested in the shots and the way they're constructed.
That's a clever point. I like that.
Is there a time where you prefer home? Like, is it maybe the second or third showing, or is it a particular kind of film?
If it's like I can't count how many times I've seen Hunt for Red October, but like I'm not gonna like wait for it to be like re-released and go see. But so if it's something I already know, like Knives Out, that's another one that like I love watching over and over. But I definitely would have been disappointed if I hadn't seen that in the theater first.
Yeah.
I get that. This thing with the theatre that I find very difficult to like emotionally manage is when you get so involved in the story and then you have to like the lights go up and you have to leave with everyone else and realise that you're just going back to your normal life and you're not part of that story anymore. And I find that difficult sometimes. I find it quite an emotional process to have to go through.
You should sit. You should just sit and wait.
Yeah, I think
you should
you're
just
right.
you should just kick back.
Yeah.
They'll come in with the little brooms.
Yeah.
And the
and then they'll finally like kick me out my chair.
They'll be like, the girl with the pink hair, it's still in there. I don't understand what's going on.
Is there
She's
something
still in
wrong
there.
with her?
Yeah.
Does she need help?
Do we need to call somebody?
Yeah, exactly. Does she just need a friend? Does she need a hug? Something like that.
Never heard the American
Next thing you know, right? You got a line of cinema workers waiting to hug you.
They just all want to hang out with me.
They're all just.
It could be like a way of socializing and making new friends and business contacts at the end of the day.
That's what I was just about to say. You could be getting these people out of the cinema business into like what they actually want to be doing.
This is a whole sales technique.
You've given me so much information already here. I need to be paying you guys.
You're just gonna wrap this up. That's it. You're full up. You're just like, that's
it.
1 by 5 today.
I'm
we're
done.
good.
Thank you very much.
That's all we need.
But wait, can we actually go? I was interested in why you thought live theater first. Like, so is that something you enjoy? Is that a different experience?
Yeah.
But how is that not the same thing? I feel like that'd actually be worse because you see.
Well, you can't see it at home.
No. Sorry, not that piece. The leaving and feeling like you're not in the story piece.
Interesting.
Because like you're actually seeing the people do the thing like actually in front of you. I think I'd actually feel what you were describing about a movie in that.
That's it. As I feel like when we see live theatre, there is greater detachment from ourselves and the production in live theatre. I feel like in a recorded movie, and I'm being really weird here, but I feel like I play with like being part of the story more than in live theatre, and then it's harder to detach from like, oh, hang on a second, I'm not part of the story.
Okay.
Well, if you think about it, there's so much more that technique that can happen to draw you in. Whereas if you're sitting in a theater, there's a physical stage.
Yeah. Okay.
That divides you from the action.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, with the exception of maybe a show where they come out in the audience or whatever, but for the most part, right? But with movies, in a movie theater or at home, like surround sound. Yes. Mabel?
I'm so sorry to interrupt. I'm like a little schoolgirl. But also it's like, so that then what happens at the end of like a theatre production, the cast then snap out of reality. They go back to their normal lives. And so it's like, oh, that experience is ended. Whereas in a film, it's kind of like, oh, I'm leaving that behind.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, that's really interesting about the emotional attachment and walking out of there. Yeah. I don't go because of loud popcorn, but that's another story.
I appreciate that.
Well, the end credits are rolling, friends, on topic number 1. It's time to move on to topic number 2. This episode's 5 by 5, the 55th episode.
That was good.
Daylight savings. Pro or con?
I like this topic.
Daylight savings time.
Want to kick us off?
Pain in the arse.
Thank you.
When? I'm just gonna talk about myself for a minute here. Well, I work in America and I have clients in America and clients in England. Daylight savings happens on different dates in Europe.
Oh, for God's sake.
And in England and in America, and it makes those 2 weeks a year, 2 different daylight savings, very confusing for my brain.
It sucks. And
Thank you for your appreciation.
Because I used to work for the U.S. outpost of a UK-based fellowship organization, and I would always have to be the person that would remind people we're going to be screwed up for a week.
Yeah.
Like and it would suck because there would be standing meetings. So if the standing meeting was set in UK time, we'd get screwed up. If we set the standing meeting, then they'd get screwed up. It was the most annoying thing, but it wasn't always that way. It used to be aligned. For some reason, we screwed it up. It was actually us. Yeah.
I feel like the last shift. I feel like the last change was during the 2008 Great Recession. It was just some crazy excuse Congress made that made no sense whatsoever.
They were like, "Oh, we're gonna." I think it was something about pushing back I don't remember if we go back a week earlier or if we are a week late, but whatever it is, whatever makes it so that it's normally 4 hours of different. So we would go earlier than the UK. So I think
it's bigger.
Yeah,
the daylight savings part is now more time in the year than it used to be.
I'm sorry, I lied. We go later than the UK, but it is actually longer than it used to be.
Than it used to be.
Yeah. And
it's ridiculous. Look, okay. Can we all just agree that we just need to get rid of this crap?
What replaces it?
What replaces it is this. It's very simple.
Yeah.
Just use the one, whatever, the GMT.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody just uses the same one. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Okay.
So at 1300 or whatever it is, right, which would be the 1 p.m., or here, like right now, whatever that is for you, it is. Meaning that in California, you start your work at 600, and on the East Coast, you started at 900, and in England, you started at...
So everyone goes by GMT?
Yes.
Okay.
Just all go by one, right? And that's time zones, I know.
Okay.
And then you just keep it the same all year.
Yeah, but
you never have to worry. Like, what's the point? That's it. Done.
Daylight savings has been happening my whole life, and I'm not in a rush to change it. I like the routine of it.
Oh, you like to change?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, see, I actually don't like the change, but it's that I would actually, at least if for like where we are in latitude goes the long way. Like, it would be great if we could just split the difference, because like I don't like short winter nights, but I do like long summer nights. And if we split the difference in like now would be
look. If we did this shit for a year, 2 years, we'd all be used to it, and we wouldn't even think about it anymore. We really wouldn't.
But I think I need to unpack this more because I'm confused. So literally, you're saying
I'm saying no time zones and no shift, no change.
No time zones. I think I feel like you've got the raw end of the deal if you're not living on GMT time.
Well,
everybody would be.
No. But then like noon would be
doesn't matter.
But
it's a hard sell. Who would buy that?
I don't get because then also it's like you have to then remember like okay, in California it's still dark. Like if it's noon GMT, that's what would have been 7 a.m. for us, which would be 4 a.m. for the West Coast.
Right.
Then you still have to remember that like they're not awake yet. They don't wake up until.
But
I don't know what that'd be.
It's just all noon. It's just all noon. That's all.
This is absolutely my brain this
But how do you remember?
Has nothing to do with when you wake up.
Yeah, but it does.
No, it doesn't matter.
So
why did my voice go up?
Wait. So everyone just works on the same like.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay, so there's no differentiation. It's just that you just get screwed. That like noon GMT is before the sun rises
for
in
me,
California,
but for someone else it's not.
Oh, I see.
Right? It doesn't matter if it's it doesn't matter like.
Circadian rhythm is going to get real scred up.
It's not.
It is. You know, it is because you need the light. You can't like.
There's no difference in light.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
What are you talking about? There is a difference.
I'm not suggesting that everybody go to work at the same time. I'm not suggesting that.
Oh.
I'm not suggesting that everybody works at the same GMT. I'm saying that in California, you start work at 9. You start work at 9 GMT, and I start work at noon GMT. It doesn't.
That's still a time. That's what I'm not understanding. That's still a time zone.
But it would be like right now we're doing this podcast and it's like 9:30 GMT and that's where we're telling the time.
Right. So if you lived in England and I said let's meet at 9:30, we're going to do a Zoom.
Yeah.
Let's meet at 9:30. Everybody would just meet at 9:30. It might be night for you and it might be day for me, but we're just all meeting at 9:30.
I'm coming round to your idea for the first time in this whole 5-minute segment.
You're gonna get so many screwed up because then it does matter about the light. That's what I'm saying. Because like if that in that scenario, then
I would just tell you that I live in California, so I work from 6 to 3. You work from 9 to 6 or 9 to 5, whatever.
How is that easier though? That's what I'm about. How is it easier to like? I don't know. It can't be easier.
All right. Well, it doesn't really matter because the clock just stopped on topic number 2. We are moving on to topic number 3. That's the beauty of 5x5.
We need a 5x6.
So episode number 3 is Autotune the News.
Explain, please.
That's me, and I'll explain. Autotune the News was this YouTube segment, or I don't know if I can call it a show, but it was this thing where some people, it might have been Funny or Die, but literally they would take like news segments and like put Autotune to them. So it'd be like Mitch McConnell doing
to make him like sing or whatever.
I'm in favor. That's all I need to say. Yes.
It was ridiculous, but the reason I put this in was I wanted to start there, but the real topic that I knew you would balk at trying to read, he
does me so well.
As the things that like you miss from that like before like YouTube was commercialized, like those like it doesn't even have to be like a video thing, but like those like off the wall like indie house like the small production things like E-Bombs World videos, like I don't know if you like that means anything, like the stick figures from way back when, like that's what I was trying to get at, but I knew if I put that in a topic it would.
Then you would remember it and give this explanation that took up half of our time on this topic.
It did not.
But I think this might all be before my time, so I'm just letting you take up time here.
No, but other things, like there are other examples.
So what are these sort of viral series, video series that spun up on YouTube and were created by these these production houses or whatever over the years? What were some of your favorites that would happen? I'm trying to think of ones that I would have watched a lot. I don't know that I watched many of these, but besides Autotune the News, because you know what, the mashup thing. There's the mashup thing. Like they would take like the Temptations and Metallica and mix those. I did watch a lot of those.
See,
I did watch a lot of those for a while. I don't know why. I didn't like them.
Because
I don't want to say I didn't like them. I'm going to take that back. Okay, it's not that I didn't like it.
Send all the hate mail.
It's not that I didn't like them. By the first chorus or second verse, I was out. I should say it that way.
Okay.
I always thought it was interesting. Like if Ozzy Osbourne's Crazy Train was mixed with like September, right? Or something like that, I would be like, wow, that's really weird how that works. And then by the time the second verse came around, I'd be out. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, but I really like the idea, and I also appreciate that it should be small and short, only like a 20-second segment, and then we've had enough.
Yeah.
We've had the novelty of it.
That's where they went wrong, in my opinion.
Well, because they would do the full song.
Yeah, we don't need that.
We don't need the full song.
No.
Like just a flip, just a taste.
Yeah, but that is modern social media now, isn't it? Everything.
Just a taste.
Very, very short. Yeah.
But you know why it became that, though? I mean, somebody wasn't sitting around this social media guru guy in the chair. That's who it is now. It's not God anymore. It's like the guy with the long beard is the social media.
It's Zuckerberg.
Yes.
The robot.
Yeah.
So he, it's not like he was sitting around going, okay, let's just make this stuff short now. Because that's the trend. It's because people would turn it off.
Yep. Yeah,
it's because by verse 2 of Crazy Train meets, the Four Tops, it was like we were done.
The data said what we should do.
That's right.
Yep. And I bet actually the data did say it. I bet there was like pause, stop watching,
data-driven decision making.
Oh, I love it, man.
For viral videos.
There is one mashup that I actually did enjoy.
What's that?
It was Take 5 by the Dave Brubeck Quartet, whatever they are, and 15 Steps by Radiohead. Somebody put those two together.
Interesting.
And it is absolute fire. Like and it works so well. That's 15 Steps is in 5/4, just like Take 5 is.
Yeah.
And it just the beat just keeps it moving,
works.
and it just works. Especially when the horns come in.
Well, maybe our crack production and admin team will embed that video in the show notes.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, we'll have to dial that up. Are there any things like that you recall now that we're kind of?
So this is like slightly like a parallel. Was this thing called the buttery biscuit bass ever famous over here?
I have no idea what you're saying.
So I'll explain very quickly. You had a show called Masterchef over here, right?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Thanks, Diggs, for chiming in on that. I had no idea.
We do.
Okay, we're half the way there already. We had that in England as well. There's a very famous guy called Greg, and Greg was like he was a chef. He was very good at cooking, but he was also like a London guy like this and very down to earth. And then he once said he said this line, and it was, "I love the buttery biscuit base on someone's pastry," and that got turned into a beautiful auto-tuned rap song thing, and it was lovely, and I hope that you link to it in the show notes here because it's exquisite.
There's going to be a lot of stuff in the show notes. There's going to be a lot.
That's what I was looking for.
There's going to be a lot going on in the show notes this time, folks. That's really cool. Now, I don't think that I've ever heard of that. Was Charlie Bit My Finger big in England?
It was.
What,
Yeah. And
It's English.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean.
That's fair. It could have been something that we like.
Thank you very much.
It was English.
Charlie
wasn't it?
Bit My
Charlie. And yes, there were the little auto-tune, but I've heard that sampled in some very good songs actually.
Charlie Bit Me?
Yeah. Ouch, Charlie.
Yeah.
In this, but that it mixed into some kind of electro swing style stuff that is very groovy. I will send it to you.
There's gonna this show post is gonna have. It's just gonna be
gonna
hours of
absolute
entertainment.
carnage.
It's going to be like hours and hours of entertainment. This show's coming out in January, the middle of January.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's going on.
You're gonna
head
have
over
so
to the
much
show.
stuff. Yeah.
You're providing so much
Head over to
value.
the show post and just watch all
Seriously.
of our YouTube videos.
Especially go pull up all the old E-Bombs World stuff, because that stuff was just ridiculously funny.
Well, topic number 3 is ended, and we're auto-playing right into topic number 4.
Oh, there's 4 topics. Oh my God, there's 5 topics.
There are.
Do you know? I thought there were 3, and I thought we were getting ready to wrap up.
This is episode 55 of 5x5. By the way, if Mabel didn't get the memo on that. Topic number 4
Makes sense.
We're ready.
is hair.
Yes.
Okay. Well, should we step out? Should we just?
I'll take this one, guys.
We got you.
Can we do a monologue? Thank you very much. No, please, someone else begin. I wouldn't want to steal. You've got lovely hair.
Well, thank you very much.
We were just talking about your hair.
We were.
Glossy, healthy, beautiful.
I think there's a lot of great hair at this table.
I would like to say.
You have great hair.
The same.
It's just hair. It's nothing special.
It's nice and neat.
Well, thank you.
Tell me about your hair.
My hair.
When was were you born that way?
Yes.
Okay.
On the inside I was, but it took me until I was about 23 to manifest that on the outside.
Tell me how you got from whatever your hair color was to this.
Let me tell you about my life.
Wait, for those of you listening to the show.
Mabel has pink hair.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, Mabel.
So, I when I was young, I thought I was a bit creative, but then I went to business school and hung out with loads of business people, and I was like, this isn't quite right. And then I got a corporate business job and had to keep it all quite professional. And then I left my corporate business job, did my whole what do I do with my life thing, and through that process, I was like, hey, I could just dye my hair pink, and did that, and then just loved it. And it started at the ends, and then it got more and more and more.
Oh, you did like the end thing?
Yeah,
okay.
And I do it myself. And I love it, and I would support anyone.
How long ago was this?
Year and a half, 2 years,
Okay.
2 years. Yeah, 2
Yeah,
years.
because since
when I
you've been in
started it.
Lancaster, since you've been at the Candy
pink.
Factory, it's been pink.
And now I think it's part of my brand. Maybe I shouldn't say this somewhere public, but I think it'll be fine. That what you can write off on your taxes as a business. And I heard about this woman who, because her pink hair was really part of her brand, she could write off all her hair products on her taxes. So I plan to do this.
No, I think it's a fantastic
that's
idea.
Fair. Yeah.
Just a disclaimer, we don't offer legal advice or tax accounting advice on this program. This is for entertainment purposes only.
But
no, I think it's a great idea.
But if there are Candy Factory members that do.
Indeed.
Yeah.
There are Candy Factory members
It's a
who
wealth
are
of
great
knowledge here.
Great tax accountants. So coworkinginlancaster.com. Check it out. Schedule a tour. Come and see us. That's really interesting. So now it's like part of you. It's part of what you're...
Yeah, part of my identity. And just... I think it's fun when you have your hair a little bit coloured, because it's like you can have a really boring outfit, but you've got a little bit of style going on.
You know, what's interesting about that, and I always talk about the old days because I'm an elder, and
no, it's not.
And it's interesting how growing up in the 80s and the mentality of the folks who were like my grandparents, right, or uncles, older aunts and uncles, the perspective on what would be acceptable has shifted so dramatically. Like back then, if your hair was like, anywhere past the collar, even the mullet, the golden, it was the golden age of the mullet. It was expected that thing was coming off as soon as you got out of high school.
And that was when you grew up.
I needed a job. I graduated in 1989 from high school, so I was a teenager in the 80s. But I mean, just the idea that you would be able to see a tattoo, or that boys would wear earrings and go to a job interview was just unheard of. You know what I mean? I think I pierced my ear for the first time maybe around 1990. I was maybe 19 years old. And I think my grandfather said something to me along the lines of, you do realize you're never going to be employed. You're never going to have a job. You're going to go poor.
With your ear, with just
with
your ear.
with an earring.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Of course, I've been gainfully employed ever since. But the point was that mentality was just like, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, it's over.
What about your hair then? How long has your hair been? How long has
my hair been long?
Precisely.
I had long hair in the 90s for a bit, for maybe a couple of years. And it was funny because I did have to cut my hair to get work.
Really?
To get like office work.
Okay,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, I needed that kind of work. I was a musician. I was playing music in Nashville.
Okay, and to get an office job, you had to cut your hair in the 90s.
In the 90s, I mean, if you were going for a job interview and you had like long shaggy hair, and the next person came along and they didn't, like a man came along and they didn't, you would definitely be put in the bottom of the pile back then.
Interesting, because my dad had long hair in the 90s.
Yeah, and
he was in IT.
Well, yeah, IT's different.
Okay.
Right? That was where it started to break because these guys are back in the back rooms kind of thing. But I was like more of like a, I would have to dress up for work, right? I would have to wear like maybe a tie for different office jobs and different things I had and that sort of thing. But it was just very hard to get in the door. And there was a perception, right, about it.
Yeah.
So I was working a lot more just as a musician and various things, doing some temp work and more blue collar kind of jobs. So I had long hair for a couple of years then. But when I turned 40, it's not 10 years ago, I started to grow it out. And I was working in IT at the time. And then I started my own business.
And that was where you had your real freedom to do whatever you want with your hair.
I just let it go. And then it grew to the point where I've cut it and donated it 4 times.
That's mega.
So, yeah, the 4th time was just this past year. So, and we're talking 10, 12 inches. So it grows pretty quick.
Wow. So your plan is just to keep on growing it out until you can donate it again?
Probably not. Like, I'm probably going
to... I was just about to call you a legend.
But I say that, and then I just never get a haircut, and then it gets really long. And then
you should do it 5 times.
I should do it 5 times for 5 by 5.
To be dedicated to the brand, you must.
Yeah.
Well, topic number 4 got a trim. It's time to move on to topic number 5. The last topic. Can you believe it? Of this episode of 5 by 5. Okay, so there seems to be a running theme here, at least with some of these past few episodes, about fire techniques that my friend Diggs suggests. This is the backfire.
What?
This is the backyard fire extinguishing technique.
Oh.
We've done the backyard fire building techniques.
The backyard fire.
Extinguishing techniques.
I would think that was a euphemism if I just saw that written down somewhere.
Tell me.
I wouldn't even know what to think it was.
That's fine.
Do you do fire, like have a fire pit at your house?
No.
You don't have like a backyard fire pit?
Well, we do have one, and it has not been used since we moved in, but we have some bricks in a circle.
Okay, there you go. So when you light your first fire, you will have to at some point extinguish that fire unless you just are there all night.
See, will I though? I feel like, because we used to have campfires like growing up in England and all that, da-da-da. And, you just put a few more bits on the fire, and then you know that you're going to be going to bed in like half an hour, so you don't put any more on, and then the embers just naturally die.
Well, when you live in the city...
Yeah, you have to put...
Put me into the cosmopolitan way of life.
When you live in the city and you put a fire in the backyard, it's etiquette and safety to extinguish that fire at some point.
This all makes sense now. I understand, and I really want to know the technique.
If we lived out in the country, we would just let the thing burn.
Just let it go. Yeah.
But Diggs, do you have a preferred?
It's the bucket.
You do the water.
Yeah.
You just pour water on it.
You just pour water on it, which is sad, depending on, especially if it's. The issue is that I'm friends with a lot of pyros, and they keep wanting to see the fire burn, but then all of a sudden they go, "Oh, I'm tired. I need to go home."
Getting late.
Right, and then it's like, well, what the this? It's now built back up to like full strength, and like now I have to sit. Well, I used to have to sit. Where I live now, I can't have a fire. There's just not enough space. Okay, so now one of us that lives in this house has to sit here and watch this fire die, and then get it to a point where we could then actually like pour water.
Is it a metal fire?
Yeah.
Fire walk.
Yeah, it's one of those. I didn't realize this when Nick was my old roommate, also Candy Factory member. It's technically a temporary fire pit that's just become permanent.
What do you mean by temporary fire?
Like it's meant to like be moved. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like 4 slats that you could just put together, but it's not really meant to be like a permanent.
Like this is a fixture of a feature.
Right.
A
so
feature.
I'm wondering if
I thought maybe it was like styrofoam or something, like temporary. It's like, and it's supposed to go.
Oh. The self-contained like that'd be trippy. Someone's working on that now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would suck having to like go get a bucket and like put the fire out, especially if it was like still so hot that the steam hurt. And you could never really tell which way the steam was going to go. So always like this, like you like splash a little bit and then like quickly adjust and then go, okay, I'll go on this side and then.
What other options do you have apart from a bucket or like a massive fire extinguisher, which no one wants to do?
No, you're absolutely correct on that. What I do is I wait it out. But it's all about timing.
Yeah,
So here's the thing. You start to know like the wood that I have right now, the pile of firewood, if I put a fresh log on that fire, it's about 38 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
That's
it's all about experience.
No, around 38.
Around 38 and a half.
It's around 38 and a half minutes. So I know that if it's getting, like if it's 8 o'clock, right? And now
GMT?
Now, granted, this is, yes. Everybody should just be on GMT.
Sorry, keep going.
No, if it's like autumn, right? And it gets dark around 6 o'clock. So you're not going to be, and it gets colder at night. Right? Obviously, in the summer, when it's not getting dark until 9 o'clock, 9:30, then your fire's later. But around then, say it's like 8 o'clock, I know, we're probably going to be calling it a night around 9:15. So this is the last log that's going on.
Gosh, there's a lot of planning that you have to do, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you start somewhere and then you work backwards.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love a reverse engineering of a plan.
Right, of a fire. So then there's this whole tap thing, like where I get it. I start breaking it up when it gets to a certain level, the final log.
Yep.
And then you sort of spread those out, and then you can, and then
So
it gets
fun.
it kind of burns them down even. I don't know, the whole thing. It's just like a process.
See, I knew.
And then I don't. Here's why. I have a metal fire pit, right? It's like I don't know, about 24 to 30 inches square, like across, and it's out there, all the time. I don't want to put water in it because then it gets gooey.
That would be messy.
Like it gets.
Yeah.
You have to. Then you're out there scraping the muck out of it and that sort of thing. So
that's true.
If you keep it dry, the ashes just sort of go away. But that's how I do it. I've learned the timing of the wood, and then I just work back from there.
But see, the thing is that you're able to fully control the whole process.
That takes planning.
Yeah.
That's most of my friends.
For someone like me, I'd be with the bucket. But I love it if there was a way that you could like extinguish the fire through lack of air. Like you have a thing that you put on a candle.
Yeah.
I'd like a massive one of them to just put on a fire.
I'm actually going back to the single-use fire pit idea, where you buy a single-use disposable fire pit. Yeah. It is the fire pit, and then it just sort of folds in on itself. At some point, you just press a button, and it just.
I'd love that. Please make it.
We've extinguished topic number 5, friends.
Such a good line.
Topic number 5 is out, and that is the last topic of this episode's 5x5.
These are the embers here.
These are the embers we're watching. We're
So
watching
sad.
the little orange. Fastest 25 minutes in podcasting.
That was beautiful. I had such a great time.
Did it go fast?
So like 5 minutes. Like it was just one topic.
It was like. All 5 topics felt like, well, that's a COVID time. That's what that is.
In the blink of an eye. It's just like the past 2 years.
What do they call it? That's like long haul COVID time, right there.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
We're never going back to knowing what the hell's going on in terms of time ever.
Nope.
Are you still saying it was last year and it was like 3 years ago?
Yep.
Yeah, me too. I just did it today.
Yep.
Someone said, "How long have you been?" I was like, "I don't know, maybe a year, maybe." And I'm like, "It was 2018, like a year ago."
Yeah, it was just last year.
I don't know. Last year.
I'm with you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us today on 5x5. Thanks for watching us or listening to us on whatever platform. Leave a comment, subscribe, do all those things that you do when you're on the internet. And please check out coworkinginlancaster.com. Schedule a tour. Come to the Candy Factory. Check it out. You can get a tour of the media studio if you're into making podcasts like we are.
Mm-hmm. This could be a New Year's resolution.
This could be. This is your New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
And we will see you next time on 5x5.
The Candy Factory 5x5 podcast is produced at So Good Media Studio at the Candy Factory,
a co-working and social club located in downtown Lancaster, PA.
The show is hosted by Jason Mundock and Robert Diggs, with music by John Chin.
Yeah. He's a really cool guy.
Follow us on the socials at So Good Lancaster.
Find 5x5 and all of our shows at sogoodlancaster.com.
So good.
Lancaster!